Well, I worked 2 jobs. So finally, that Saturday, he came. My father said, "Where can we talk?"
How did you meet Oscar?
Oh, that was later. That was much later.
Long time?
That was later. That was much later.
Much
I went out
later?
with Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
But anyway, my father told me Monday morning I better be in school. I was just Sunday night sitting on the steps.
Okay.
But anyway, I joined Oscar when I left Duke Ellington. But I was in '66. I joined Wild Bill Davis. Talked me into. Actually, I was supposed to go with Count Basie's band. I had 4 choices. I was working with Lloyd Price at Basie Street East in New York with Lola Falana, playing for Lola Falana, and Alan Sherman, the guy who put out Hello Mother, Hello Father, and with the big band Lloyd Price, and George Rowles, Sammy Davis's manager, piano player, was the conductor. And Pepper Adams was in the band, and he told me downstairs,
Linda.
Hey, what's up?
My friend.
with Duke Ellington.
Oui.
And I'm going to pass that up. But I had a choice, and Lockjaw talked to me. It was Bitty Woods, Pepper Adams was in the band. He said, "Bobby, you got all the jobs." I said, "No, we was doing a break in the dressing room." He said, "Well, everyone is waiting for you downstairs." I said, "Yeah, right." Some joke. He said, "No, I'm serious." So then some of the guys come and said, "No, man, they're waiting for you." I said, "Come on, man, push." I went downstairs. It was Lockjaw Davis for Count Basie. It was Mercer Ellington for Duke Ellington. It was Bitty Woods for Demita Joe. And it was the bass player for Ray Charles. They all wanted to talk to me. I don't want to talk to them. So I talked to everybody and told me the money. I decided to go with Lockjaw with the bassist band. And then 2 weeks later, Lockjaw called me up. He left the band. He was upset because he's the straw boss of the band. He hires and fires. But he wanted me, and basically decided he was going to wait for another drummer. So I didn't go. So I was with Wild Bill Davis for many years, in Atlantic City. We worked all around.
Okay.
And so Wild Bill talked me into going with Duke Ellington. I didn't want to go with Duke at the time. I said, "Man, Duke got a lot of music, I don't know." Anyway, he taught me to go. Which Duke thought I was 18 years old. I was 32. But I stayed with the band for almost a year. And while we were doing it, every 3 months, we would do the Jazz of the Philharmonics with Norman Granz, which was Duke Ellington, Oscar Peterson, and Ella Fitzgerald. So Rufus Jones and I, we alternated because he came from Basie's band and he was going back to Basie.
Yeah.
We alternated for 3 months. He played the first show, I played the second show, the next day I played the first. And finally, during the finale, Oscar would come out and play, and Duke would direct the band. And when the band, as soon as he could play his solo, the band would cut out and be John Lamb, me, and Oscar. I'd come down and play the trio side. And I see Oscar looking at me, Louis Hayes in the band, but I didn't want to go with the band, Sam Jones. And that's another story too, because I was supposed to go with Cannonball. And Nat Adderley talked to me. And when I got there, Sam Jones was the straw boss. He decided he wanted to play the rock and roll drummer, because I came out of Lloyd Price's band, which is a jazz band. But I mean, I'm gonna go back past that. So Sam Woodjaw would get kind of tipsy, drinking, and would make show. So Jimmy Jones and Bob Crenshaw was playing for Ella. So they would call me to play for Ella. They wanted Louis Hayes. Started in Detroit, but Louis from Detroit, they couldn't find him. So anyway, after about 3 hours, they decided to get me when I decided to go in town after waiting. So I started playing with her. I played the first tune, the second tune. She said, "He don't need no music." And so we played it. And that was my first time. And I wound up playing about 4 times that year with Ella Fitzgerald. And then when I wanted to go home to see my kids, because every time with Duke, man, we'd always be away. So I never got to go home for almost 10 months. I had to send for my wife and stuff, kids. I never was home. So I told him I had to go home for 3 months. And then Oscar found out that I was coming home for 3 months. And Louis was leaving. So he called me on the phone and asked me would I play with the band. I said, "Yeah, but just 3 months. I don't want to stay with the band." And anyway, I wound up going with the band, and I stayed. They talked me into staying, but I really want to stay with the band. But I'm glad I stayed with the band because it did a lot for my career. Oscar did a lot for me. being with Oscar, I got more exposure and everything else.
Ouais, puis different for the money, different.
Yeah, the money was good too, but more than that, the music was even
Exactly.
more than the money. You know, for me. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if he understands how I really feel. You know, about him. But I have no animosity or nothing. You know, and I didn't want to leave when I left, but I left because I had another job. I had signed a contract, and I don't think he understood that. Because I've been with him and many other bands just on my word. And when I get my word, I'm going to be there. I'm not signing no contract. But if I put my name in the contract, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
You know, it's a little extra than my word. And I'm just that's the kind of person I am. And if a person can't understand that, then I don't know what to say. You know, but it wasn't a good departure. You know, I went through a lot of stuff. My funeral, my cousin there. A lot of stuff, and a lot of personal stuff happened that night when I came back that he never know, because he doesn't want to know anything about your personal stuff. You can't go to him for nothing. But Ella is something different. Ella and all the other bands have had problems. So it's my problem.
Yeah.
If I want to tell you, it's okay. Maybe somebody hit my car outside. I say, hey man, I'm sorry. Somebody hit the car. I can't go to Oscar. Say, somebody hit my car. He won't know nothing about it. You know? It's a different thing.
It's different.
So that's why I like people can listen to you sometimes when you have a problem. I don't want you to solve my problem. If I have a problem, I should be able to talk to you about it. You know?
Et Sam is live now?
No, I don't see Oscar anymore.
When?
No. I don't know. I've seen him since Blue Note.
In the Blue Note?
You know, since we did the thing with Ray Brown and Herbie.
Okay.
You know? But I still love him. Yeah, that's cool.
When did you, for the first time to Paris?
First time I came to Paris with Oscar. It was the first one brought me to Europe. When I was in the military, I wanted to come here, but I went to the Far East. You know, Guam, Formosa. I spent 18 months in Okinawa. I was in about a month in Japan, in Fuji. I went to Guam, Formosa. This during the 50s, you know, after the Korean War.
Yeah.
But I got a chance to finally come here when I went to Oscar, I think 67. So I joined in 66. 67. Okay.
67.
My first time. London was the first place.
I am
Washington Hotel.
11 years. Bon.
Yeah, I was 33, I think.
Alors, just a moment. I do the report on Miles Davis. Did you meeting him?
I knew Miles. You know, because, you know, I told you my stepfather, Red Garland. So he had the trio, had the quartet. He used to be Red Garland, Red Callender on bass, Philly Joe Jones on drums, and Billy Root was the tenor player from Philly. And but he had other bands he used to travel with. And it's funny because in the jukebox, Miles was playing around midnight and all that stuff in the 50s. You know, when I was like 14, 15 years old, or 12, I was in the jukebox.
Yeah.
And I never knew it was my stepfather. At the time, he wasn't with my mother at the time. But we used to listen to it. I used to play it. 5 cents.
Yeah.
You get, for 10 cents, you get 2 plays, but for a quarter, you get 5 plays. Some places 6 plays. Sometimes you get 3 plays for 10 cents. Three songs.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Where? New York?
In Philadelphia, anywhere.
Everywhere?
Yeah, the jukebox.
Yeah.
In the bar. And a lot of people used to come to me because I knew the music. My mother taught me a lot of things about different music. And I remember, I don't know how old I was. My mother said I must have been 5 or 6. And she caught me putting a record on. And she didn't say nothing. She said, I put it on correctly with the needle. And she came down and said, I remember that, but I don't remember the age. And she started saying, I should see my mother tell people how to handle the records without putting their hands on it, during the album. And so she said, you know what you listen to? I said, no, you like it? I said, yeah. So she told me, I'm going to tell you who it is. It was Jimmy Lunceford. I said, yeah, who's that? So she started telling me, and I said, what else you like? And I should pick out the records. I didn't know the name. And she said, well, this is so-and-so, this is Louis Armstrong, you know. And then she started teaching me my mother.
Okay. Alors, il y a aussi, I do the report on James. Do you remember James Brown and on the road?
I joined him in 63.
63?
A friend of mine, Huckabuck, the guy, Paul Williams, his name is Huck. He put out the song, Do the Huckabuck, do da 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 years ago. He called me, and he had tenor player. So, getting old. I'll think of it later. Anyway, he had him on the gig to play because to help the saxophones section playing the show. It's 12 acts from Motown, and he's helping the saxophone read. They had a problem with the reading in James' band, so he was in the saxophone section, and I was with the drummer because now James had two drummers, Phitzgerald and another drummer. But I was playing for the show, not for James. Then at the end of the tour, I had to play for James because the bus broke down, and the two drummers used to carry all the instruments, and we were in the bus, and they were in the van, in the truck, you know, with all the instruments. Which they opened one of the stores on the Sunday, the first night, and they got instruments from there so that we can do the show. And James had to come to me because I was the only drummer. And I was playing for 12 acts, you know. Because I remember, he said, well, I got this tape. And the drummer solo, because the drummer played something before the curtains open. I said, I know, I've been listening to it for 3 months. I said, but man, it ain't nothing. He said, why you say that, man? I'm my drummer. I said, I know, man, listen, I can hit my sleep, you know. So anyway,
C'était when?
I played 63.
63?
Yeah. So I played, and then I wanted to play with James and everything. I played both shows. I played the 12 acts, take a break for like 15 minutes, then I'd come back and play for James, which was hard, but I was young, so it was cool. So I had a lot of strength, you know. And I finished that, the vast part of the tour. And then when James Brown got me, he asked me to go to California. I said, no, man, drop my band, I need you. I said, no, man, I'm going to New York. He was trying to get me to go with him, you know. But I went to New York. And that was the last time I seen James. I mean, face to face, you know. I seen him in the hotels and clubs, you know, I go see him. I never went backstage and said, hey, you know. Yeah. I don't like to interrupt a lot of times, you know, because everybody's back there and everybody trying to get past everybody, you know. It's a lot of hassle, so, you know.
Okay.
He knows me and I know him, so that's enough.
Alors, there are also the Temptation is played to Paris 5 November this year.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes when people get me mistaken with the Temptation. I didn't play the Temptation, but Andries Muhammad. Don't kill me because I say Leo Mars. That's what I knew him. Yeah. Andries Muhammad. He was playing, I think, for the Temptation. I met him in Washington. I was with Lloyd Price, big band. But I didn't play for them. I played for the Drifters, the Coasters, the Orioles. I played in New York. When I moved to New York, I played for Marvin Gaye. I played with the Motown, Marvin Gaye, the Supreme, Fitzgerald, Supreme, Inez, Charlie Fox, Smokey and the Miracle, Major Lance, Mary Wells, Martha and the Vandellas. Martha's from Philadelphia, too. You know, they had 12 acts, and I played for all acts, including Jimmy Reed. You got me rolling, you know. He paid me better than everybody. He told me just stay on all fours. 1, 2. Because see, you never know when the one coming back again. You got me rolling 5, 6, 7. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot by being with him. Just stay right there. Give me everything is a 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alors.